Many of you are here this morning for Gerald's Memorial, and let me explain why we're doing it this way. It's because Gerald was very clear. He didn't want anybody doing any type of service for him. He didn't want any attention drawn to him. He didn't want people to be bothered by this. Sharon felt the same way. Stop her, I'll come after you. But that's always been Gerald and Sharon. And Sharon wanted to honor Gerald. And there's a part of all of us that had no desire whatsoever to honor Gerald's request. We wanted to have a service for him. And besides, where Gerald is right now is in the arms of the Lord Jesus Christ. He has fought the good fight. He has finished the race. He has kept the faith. And now, on that day, he breathed his last. He was then brought into the presence of the Lord, and he won the prize. And he didn't win the prize because he's just a person. So many people think they go to heaven just because they're people, or just because they think they're good people. But Gerald gave his life to the Lord Jesus Christ. And he had always kind of gone to church there with Sharon, and then when he started coming here, he's just a great guy. He's always been a great guy, according to everything I've ever heard from the time before I knew him. But he was just kind of coming to church with Sharon, and then one day this lady from Peru came and visited us and told us about this ministry she was doing, and something happened to Gerald. And he was changed into a different man. And his heart broke for the people in Peru. And his devotion to the Lord Jesus Christ got stronger and stronger and stronger. Now, and when I'm done just talking a little bit here, then what we're going to do is just show a short slide presentation. And you'll find that with the music that he loved so much was the Peruvian music. And so we put some of the stuff that he brought back from Peru. He would come back from Peru and bring more music. And Sharon suddenly just had Peru in her home. But for the particulars on Gerald Allen Lee, he went home on November 1st. And he was born December 20th, 1937 in Sacramento. And he served in the United States Army. And then when he got home, he worked for a Crystal Creamery. And he married Sharon in 1965. They were married for 53 years. Something about a great marriage, and that is that it always ends in this type of pain. As Sharon now has to go on, and she has to wait. And this is really hard, but this is what a good marriage is. And in 1973, they moved to Mendocino Coast, and with their first child, with Brandon, Officer Lee, Sergeant Lee. And anyways, and Gerald worked for Bolden Dairy for several years, and then Bryony was born in 1981. And then he worked on the crew for the County of Mendocino, and it says most widely known for his fuel delivery for Mendocino Coast Petroleum. He worked there for nearly 20 years. And he also served 13 years as a volunteer fireman for Mendocino Fire Department. And he assisted in ocean rescues, saving numerous lives. I want to say in regard to saving numerous lives, I know some of you walk with Jesus because of Gerald, speaking of saving lives. And I think, so much of our Tony and Seika in here, right? Where's Tony and Seika? Hey, you guys. I know Gerald played a big part. Gerald he loves people so much, he'll get right in your face. Just get right in your face and tell you the way it is. And there are people who are saved and going to heaven because of him. And of course, we all know that he was Santa Claus for Fort Bragg. Some of you who didn't know that was Gerald, so I blew his cover. The candy cane run, they would come through the streets, and there he was, all dressed up like Santa Claus. Let's see, he retired at the age of 70. I don't think from Santa Claus, but from the other stuff. But he was still seen, you can see him around town painting and barbecuing at the family events and, of course, church events. And he was obviously very involved in church here. The mission trips to Peru, he'd gone to Chile with me. I think, I don't know how many trips that I went on with Gerald, but he was always the best on a trip to Peru. Let's see, he is best known for his white hair. Now, I don't know who wrote the obituary. That's known for his white hair. Oh, man. Beekeeping, right? Remember the barbecuing, woodworking, his kind, generous heart, his sense of humor, and always having candy in his pocket. Gerald's brothers, Richard and Tom, went on before him, and Gerald is survived by his sister Alma and his wife Sharon, and his kids Brandon and Lorna. Not Brandon and Bryony. Brandon's wife is Lorna, and Bryony's husband John, and the grandkids Michael, Rylan, Justin, and Blake, and also survived by many nieces and nephews throughout California. All right. Oh, I'm hearing it. Somebody's got a serious phone call coming in. I wish I could explain to you what kind of a person Gerald was, but many of you already know that, but I just, again, well loved in the community, but so well loved in this church. Such a big part of this church. And he taught us so many things about love. And he is sorely missed already, and we love him so much. And so, again, this whole service today is just dedicated to Gerald. And in fact, after the slide presentation, we're going to get in the Word and talk about Gerald within all of that. And so, tell you what, let's do this. Are we ready? Ready to roll? You hope so? All right. Are we there? We had this thing going earlier. If anybody has any jokes they want to tell while we're waiting. No, don't want to hear your jokes. Now we had that thing rolling. Do I need to get back there? Oh, there we go. Okay, good, good, good. Oh, that's right. We're doing a song, huh? I told them what we were going to do. Looking at the sound guys. There we go. All right.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my